to be active during this revolution? What are your thoughts about that? Because there's some people that, they've been sitting on the sidelines. How much of a responsibility is there for everyone?
I think it depends on who you are, how big your platform is. I think like the obvious example of the Uber CEO is something that kind of grates on everyone, because here you have someone who has a huge platform, a multi-billion-dollar company, who not only, it's not someone that they can claim that they're like, not politically active, because they speak about Ukraine all day on Twitter every day and raise money for Ukraine all the time, which is great. But when it comes to Iran, that person's country, they are silent. And I think that is a failure of a responsibility or an obligation to speak up for your country, But on the other hand, I know that people have personal reasons for not, being active. Like I have family members who, their brothers, husbands, wives, children were executed by the Islamic Republic, and they just don't really want to think about it or even approach it or touch it. I know they view the content, but I think talking about the content is a little bit too much.
Traumatic, yeah.
It's too traumatic for some people. So I think it kind of depends on the circumstance as well.
I mean, like, I feel like this could be a long conversation about it, but it's like at some point we have to break this traumatic chain. It's like somebody has to like end it. Somebody has to face it. So that we can end this terror that our people are going through. But I do try to be as sympathetic as possible to people who literally just cannot face these discussions. But speaking of like speaking up, if I'm not mistaken, you're one of the first people that pushed out this hashtag, say their names to save their lives. How did that begin? Are you one of the first people that kind of created that? Tell us the backstory behind it.
Okay, yeah. So I had noticed in 2020, I guess 3 years ago now, when the 3 young guys in Iran had been sentenced to death for protesting the gas prices. I remember at that time posting about that, and I remember a lot of people were posting about it because it was like crazy, even to like the international community. Like my friends were posting about it, like everyone was posting about it. They were like hashtagging and doing all of this stuff, and then I noticed that their death sentences were overturned, and they got life, right? And then the international community kept pushing, and then they commuted their sentence to 5 years, and that stuck in my mind. And then so when the revolution happened this time round, I remember thinking about it one day. I had seen the news that Elham Chubdar and Zahra Zendegi Hamadani had been sentenced to death for being LGBTQ persons. And I thought back to that time and I thought, this is something that we can repeat this, right? And so I made a video on TikTok, like basically explaining how this works. I was like, guys, this happened in 2020. We can do this again now. Say their names to save their lives. And I just made it a hashtag. And it just kind of like took off. And then like it got like millions of views, and it got shared by celebrities were sharing it. Like it really took off. And they did overturn Zahra's death sentence. So, and then we started to see over time that it was working with everyone else, Shervin, Hossein Ronaki, like person after person after person. And then people started coming forward telling their own stories. Like my dad was in prison for 10 years and we said his name and we saved his life. Like, so it started to prove true, and the more true it proved, the more we pushed the campaign.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have no doubt that